All right. Hey there, I'm Everett Dirksen, and with me is a good friend of mine, Jory, and we are talking today a little bit about his shop story. And so, Jory, tell me about who you are.
Perfect.
And what's your story?
Yeah, so our story is that we've been in the trucking industry for a long time, and we were just really frustrated with our maintenance and efficiencies and the cost of it all and the bad service we were getting, and we just constantly frustrated. So first we got a shop and we started doing our own maintenance, but we couldn't quite get to the level we needed to do it all encompassing. We wanted to have control of it to be better at it, right? So but we couldn't justify the cost really. So we thought, well, if we're this frustrated, imagine what everyone else is feeling like. So we kind of felt as the customer and as the service provider, we could do a really good job of that and better than we were experiencing. So we kind of took it to the next level, hired the people we couldn't afford to hire, and opened it up to the public. And even though that was hard and stressful through that transition, it kind of paid off in the long run, so that we can provide the quality that we need, do it with integrity, and afford the tools, the software, the space to do a good job. Yeah. And so that's why we started EvansHD.
Right on. Okay, well, we'll maybe show some pictures of your shop later, because it's a nice shop.
Yeah.
But first we're going to talk about you as an entrepreneur. Now, you're an entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you, as in this business especially?
Yes, and I looked up entrepreneur to answer this question for you, Everett. So, entrepreneur, to what it means to me, not just what the definition is that someone that's willing to take risks both physically and financially in order to realize their vision and dream for their life through their business. And that's kind of what I want to do, and what we are always trying to do is to create a vision and then stick our neck out and see if we can make it happen. Yeah. So that's what it means.
Very cool. Okay, so in taking those risks that you have, what have been some of the hardest jumps or the hardest leaps you've had to take? Some of the hardest things you've encountered along that path?
Oh, well, the hardest things to face is, especially like, we were in trucking for 15 years. Yeah. And so, there were all the hard parts, and we call it the digging the trenches periods of your business. And so starting a new business, like a heavy-duty mechanic shop, the problem is that when you don't know what you don't know, right? So just going headlong into things and having disappointments and making mistakes and trying to get the right people in the right places and long hours and all the kind of stuff that comes along with that it's just really challenging and really hard. And then to connect that to not understanding what margins you should be at, knowing what everyone else is doing in the industry, and just trying to be on point and get all your data correct in the midst of the schmoz that is trying to start a business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. I think there's lots with that story for sure as well. What's being a business owner, which not everybody is, owning a business, what are some of the biggest things holding you back? What was a big hurdle to overcome, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's the same thing. Like, it's funny you asked a question about one type of business. For me, it's the same in all my businesses. The struggles are, 1 is people and 2 is finances, right? And then 3 would be sales if you really want to go down that route. But the first 2 problems is getting the right people, growing the leaders that you need, getting them in the places where you can trust them and that they're motivated. But you have to have first the right people, because you can't do it on your own. A business will never work without people.
Yeah.
Right. So number 2 is finances. Is that if you're trying to grow a business, to operate a business, there's always a cash flow problem, right? You need operating capital. You need it at a reasonable rate, and you need to convince banks and lenders that they should lend you that money. That's and right. So when you don't have your finances formatted correctly and your books accurate and things moving along, then people tend to be not so helpful. Yeah. And that can really create some big challenges. And so that's a big hurdle, is getting over the hump of that. And then the sales part is just simply convincing customers that they should take a chance on you, especially in the beginning, and then getting them to stay and proving your quality and your integrity as a company.
Yeah. Now that's a lot of hurdles.
Yeah, there's a couple.
That's good. Right. So this thing we have called MoneyWrench. Mm-hmm. It's a set of tools. It's some things. It's more than that. But what are some of the specific problems that those tools, I think you've alluded to them already, that those tools are pointed towards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So MoneyWrench is, when I was thinking about it, it comes down to is that it's not that I didn't know that I needed to get these things in order, that I didn't know that I needed to know this information. It's that I didn't know how to get it and package it and make a rhythm and get it rolling, right? I didn't have the knowledge that I needed. I didn't have the time to commit to it. And when I did have time to commit to it, I felt like I was just spinning my tires trying to come up with this program, ripping my books apart, putting them back together in the way that I thought was best and not maybe the best. And then even when I did get it done, I wasn't confident in what I had in the end. So MoneyWrench and what you guys have done with our information is that consistently every month I've got the data I need, and it's formatted in a way that I can understand it, I can measure it, I can compare it, and I can trust it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's done for us.
Very cool. Right on. No, that's good to hear. So we've been working with you. I mean, we've worked with you for a long time and some other things, but in this in particular, how long has it been that we've kind of turned that switch on a little bit for you and made those changes and made those shifts?
Yeah, so I kind of look back and we have data from June of this year, which is our first month of our fiscal year. And then when I looked into it,
so half a year ago.
We're at 8 months-ish right now.
Yeah.
So after 3 months, because I wanted to give it a little time to settle in and just digest some of that information, we felt that we had enough data to make some changes. And even though we were already thinking about those changes, we didn't have the confidence that we needed to go, yes, that is exactly what we need to do before. We had our suspicions.
Yeah.
But like I've said to you before, you need partners that you can get to confirm the suspicions that you have, right? As a business owner, when you don't have someone to talk to and someone to roll through ideas with and go, yeah, you know what, that is a good idea, or I think you're onto something. It's hard. It's really hard unless you have the right people to partner with you and to give you that confidence to move forward on it. So after starting MoneyWrench and having that consistent data and making the changes we need to make, we as a team in our company, we're very confident to move forward on the changes, like adjusting our shop rate and our margins and looking at areas that needed to be cut back on and increasing areas that needed more attention.
Yeah.
So it gave us the confidence to make the decisions that we had suspicion of, right? And we just went ahead and it's made major improvements for us.
Yeah. No, I always like that confirming my suspicions thing.
Yeah.
And so we've done a few months of the scorecard, like you talked about, the diagnostic thing that we use, and you've even provided some input back about that, and I think that's awesome. Is that a piece of the puzzle that's helping you go, okay, I can show other people this, and we can all be on the same page with
Yeah,
those
like
numbers?
if we sit down with my department heads and I go, I can put this on the table and go, this month, this month, this month, and you can watch the trends move up and down, and you can point to the issues that exist. The real issues is not just the suspicions, right? And so that scorecard is the concrete data that you need to have those conversations and not go, well, yeah, maybe you think that, but do you really know?
Yeah, that's right.
I really know. I do. Yeah.
Right on. How do you visualize what we do? I mean, we've wrapped up some accounting in your stuff as well. How does that differ from what you expect from what maybe normal accountants do for their clients?
Yeah. Well, I've had the pleasure of not working with many other accountants.
I'm not going to get you to try it.
No, yeah. But the few that I have worked with, and just the experience, even the transition over the many years we've worked together, what you guys are doing now compared to how we started a relationship is that it's so much more of a partnership. We talk about the compliance aspect of accounting, and many accounting firms are just making sure you're compliant, and they come in there one time a year or they're a couple times a year and they lay your stuff out and go, okay, this is how it is, and you don't understand half of what they're saying, and they don't actually understand the nuances of what they are saying to you because they don't intimately understand your business. Where EJD, especially in the last several years and this year in a big way, has partnered with us, has made regular conversations, has gotten to know what our business is actually about, and cares intimately that we succeed, and has to put their money where their mouth is and their time where their mouth is in making sure that we get there, and not just, we want this and you're always working toward it but it never really happens. We make a plan and we execute, and we actually make headway, and we get traction where wheels were spinning in past years, right? So I felt like we've gotten way more traction with EJD in the way that we're interacting, especially with MoneyWrench.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So this MoneyWrench thing, what did you expect? I don't know, maybe that's a hard question to ask. You know, I'm sure you expected something when we kind of started talking about these things, and you knew you had a need and you had suspicions. Now that we're not, I realize we haven't arrived anywhere yet together, right? But we're on that path with the traction you talked about. How does it exceeded what you thought might be possible back then, or is it, you know, describe that to me. What good has it done that way?
Yeah, I would say that sometimes, especially with books, and depends what kind of person you are, if you're an analytical person or you're a more technical person in the way that you want to be out there driving the truck or turning the wrench, or if you're the guy that's in the office doing the bookkeeping and your relationship to your accountant and how you work with them and how you look at your numbers. But
Yeah.
I think that what I always wanted and never had was just confidence in my information that I was getting. And it seemed like you never really knew, or you were always scared to ask for that information consistently because of the cost of it, or because of the time it took, or because you're swooping in from not knowing what's going on and figuring it out and then swooping out again, where this is it's constant.
Yeah.
I don't worry about, I'm not going, man, I need to, because what would happen when I get down to it is that I don't have time to spend the time that I need to do on it, so then you just don't. And then you just live in this place where you're really not sure about what's going on, and then once in a while you break down and you dig into it and then find out the depressing things, and then you're still not really sure about what you found out. Where now every month I get the information, every month I trust it, I didn't waste countless amounts of time trying to figure it out. I didn't have sleepless nights going, man, I gotta dig into our books.
Yeah.
I know it's coming. When I look at it, I can compare it and I can see how we're doing, and it also helps me to see into the future so that we know, okay, we're gonna make these changes, and I'm excited to see how they roll out, and I know that I'm gonna get the information when I need it, and that it's coming always.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Are there tangible ways that you could say, hey, this helped me do this? Is it, you know, you talked about sleepless nights, you talked about time savings, all those things. Are those the real benefits that come out of it?
Yeah, but it's the tangible, intangible, you know, I like to put a number on stuff, like you could sit down and try to, but it's also, it's hard. But what I would say is that running 3 businesses, I never have enough time, ever, right? And when we did this in one of our businesses, it made me want to do it in the other ones as well, in some way, shape, or form. And when I felt like if I could just do what we're doing here in all 3 of our business, it would also mean that I would have time to start other businesses. It opened a horizon of opportunity for more time. It means that I can go skiing on the weekend and not spend Saturday here trying to figure out what the heck's going on, right? And whatever. And then the other thing is, like I said, after that 3 months, the suspicions that we had and the changes we kind of wanted to make, but we're a little bit too afraid to really go, you know what, that's right, that is what we need to do, and we're going to do it. We did those things after 3 months, and it translated to better margins in every area.
Yeah.
You know, and that's tangible, right? Is that we make more money now, and we do it in the places we should be doing it. You don't go, well, we just need to raise our parts margin up till we make money, and everywhere else sucks. And maybe that's not the problem. And the customer says your parts are too expensive, and then they stop coming. You go, no, I can measure my sublet account. I can measure my supplies account. I can measure my labor account. I can measure my parts account, and I can get them all on the plane where I'm competitive in every area, but I'm winning in every area.
Yeah.
All cylinders are firing, and that means that you're succeeding essentially.
Cool. Okay. So, you know, it hasn't been that long, 8 months you said. We've shifted a bunch of things, and you've done it, and your team is great about that as well. They want to shift, they want to see things better. Do you have a story? I mean, I know you've got some things that have come out of there.
Yeah.
Any story that kind of tells about the value of what that's happened, or something that's changed really dramatically?
I like that word. That's
dramatically.
Yeah, you're gonna keep that one.
Yeah, that's good.
What's changed drastically? Do you know what I think is that I've got in the mechanic world, which is its own culture, and every business and industry has a different culture. You're working with guys that are very hands-on.
Yeah.
They got grease under their fingernails and
love it.
And calluses everywhere. but they don't believe in meetings and in numbers, and they've sat in meetings and other companies and other businesses and just like they do not want to be there, right? And so if you can bring actionable information to them quickly and efficiently, not waste their time trying to get them to help you figure out what's going on, and they can have confidence in me as a leader financially, it inspires a different aura over how those meetings go. And so I've just found that everyone's just a little bit more engaged because they can see the information as easily as I can see it without being an accountant.
Yeah.
Right. It's put in layman's terms so people can see it and understand it, and that means that the confused mind says no or checks out.
Yeah.
But if you can get it and you can engage with it, then you can do something with it. So that's made a difference.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you believe this MoneyWrench thing, or just the way to approach business, like you said, you believe that changes your business, changes your lifestyle?
Yeah, the confused mind thing. Right? You can go back to that as the more uneasy or unsure I feel, or the more you're in that kind of fog of you're just trying to make it work, the more stressful it is, right? Like the indecision and the unknown, and that typical coasting business guy that doesn't know what to change or what to do different, or how what am I going to do to change this, instead of just putting your head in the sand or going back to work and just working harder. You want to work on your business and work smarter. And I think that this is the kind of step that people need to make to really go to that next level with their business.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
What's one of the things you appreciate about the team we've used with you as well, right? It's not just me.
Yeah. No, everyone's terrible with it.
Yeah. What are the things that you go, I appreciate that, I'm glad that's happening?
Yeah, you guys, in a very similar way that we do, are very obviously caring about your culture and the people that you have in your organization. And so anyone we're dealing with, yourself, Brian, Jen, Shannon, and everyone I've ever dealt with, I think Marcel is the other that's been here a few times, they're all the right kind of people, the people we want to be dealing with. They all obviously care. They're all part of the team and the culture that you guys have there. And when I'm dealing with another business as intimately as you deal with your accountant, if you have a good accountant, is that you want to be with those people. You're not going to have fun at work if you don't like the people that you're working with. So that's a big deal. And not only that, but that we know for certain that EJD operates with integrity. They have our best interest in mind, and that they're going to keep working on it until it's done and it's figured out one way or another. That's the kind of people I want to be in business with.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what? There's nothing more fun than seeing a client succeed or see somebody else have a better life because of what you did.
Because of what you did.
Somebody leaves here with their truck is new and running and working well. And it's business, but they go away and now they have confidence that they can go do what they want to do best. Right?
Well, and the thing that I think goes in line with that too is that everyone's going to have your hurdles and your struggles. You're going to have that customer come back that you had a bad run with. We're dealing with it right now. But what I've discovered over the years is when you do get into that trench with that guy and you've screwed up or something bad has happened, whether it's your fault or not, when you get down there and get into the nitty gritty and you make sure that you do it with integrity and quality and you stick it out until the end, that what can that guy say bad? You'll build more friendships through the struggles than you'll ever do through your successes. And so maybe we should have some struggles sometimes so that we can get closer.
We're not going to tell anybody that
we haven't had any struggles, right? But and we've had plenty of struggles, and you know what? That's what made it better and better and better over the years. Is that you guys were never. That's not our problem, right? Like even if it wasn't your problem, you guys would come in and you would do anything you could do to help us get through it, and that's important.
So if you're a shop owner and you're sitting at your desk with your stacks of paper and all your different things going on right now, you're saying, I'm considering doing something like this. I just didn't know it existed. I didn't know what it looked like. What would you say to them?
Oh yeah, I would recommend this. You won't just call Everett and get connected. Do it. You won't regret it. it will help you go to the next level, the one that you want to get to.
Okay. Jory, was there one like aha moment where you were like, oh yeah, all the pieces are coming together now, like that, and it just seemed like the stars aligned? Do you have? I think you have those actually, but
I do have aha moments sometimes. You know what? I don't know if there was here. It was more that it would be more that you expected it to maybe have a disappointment. If you're the kind of person that doesn't pump things up and go, I get excited, this is going to be amazing, and then you find out later that it's only average. You know, if anything, I'm not a pessimist, but I'm a bit of a realist when it comes to that things. And go, this sounds really great, but we'll see, right? And I would say, as things go, I was definitely aha in the way of that this is actually really a good thing. Yeah. And that I want to duplicate it. You know, it wasn't like, yeah, so we're doing MoneyWrench and it kind of works and that's fine and we'll keep doing it. It was like, okay, what I'm doing here, I need to do it over here and I need to do it over here. And all of my areas, because it's going to fine tune everything and make it better.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. That's a great story. Okay. Last question. Yeah, I'm going to ask you. If on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what number would you give? How would you recommend us or recommend MoneyWrench for somebody else to use?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm pro MoneyWrench, so I'd give it a 10. I don't think you could go wrong with it. Unless you've got some magical way that's working for you, great. But even then, I don't think you'd regret it. I give it a 10. Or, in the words of accounts, a 9.83. Just to be accurate.
That's the one difference between me and my tax partner is that he uses decimals and I don't.
Yes.
So I'm good with just.
You're good with rounding. Okay, we'll go with that.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, Jory.
Yeah.
This has been a great few minutes together. Helps me to learn. All the time. I learn from you when we get together all the time, and so I appreciate that.
Good. My ramblings hopefully are helpful to somebody.
Yeah, we figure things out that way together, and that's great. So I want to say thanks to Jory for joining me from EvansHD. Great bunch of people, great shop, and we love what you guys are doing. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on taking those steps, and I think you're breaking through a lot of ceilings, and that's fun to see.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, take care.